The Lionsgate portal is the most anticipated and the most famous of all of the galactic activation portals that we move through each and every year. Lionsgate is believed to be at its most powerful on and around August 8th of each year, the 8th day of the 8th month of the year. And as this is numerologically speaking an 8 year, this makes this year's Lionsgate portal the 888 portal, further amplifying the energies and the power that is channeled through this date. What many people don't know, however, is that the Lionsgate portal actually begins at the beginning of July, and it is roughly a 1.5 to 2 month long event. In this video, we're going to be discussing the energies and themes of this portal, why it is so powerful, and all of the galactic activation portals within this portal, because it is truly an unfoldment of energy. The most powerful celestial event that actually fuels the energy of this portal occurs not on August 8th, but actually the first week of July, when the sun comes into conjunction with the star Sirius. Sirius is a fixed star within the Canis Major constellation within the sky, which is found a little bit diagonally from Orion's belt, or the constellation of Orion. This star is incredibly powerful, and some refer to it as our spiritual sun. It is believed that what I like to call our physical sun, which is the sun that we all know and love, the sun that's been sending us all of those beautiful solar flares and coronal mass ejections, and will ultimately send us that final solar flare when we are at that tipping point of energy that some refer to as the Great Solar Flash, thereby initiating the final leg of this ascension journey. So we have that sun, our physical sun, and then we have Sirius, our spiritual sun, supplying the spiritual energy to this galaxy while the sun supplies the life force energy. We can see these two bodies, if you will, celestial bodies, having a real yin and yang type of relationship or energy, and really supporting and balancing each other out. So when our physical sun aligns with our spiritual sun, we have a massive gateway of spiritual and celestial energy that is open to us, accessible to us, and quite literally bathing us in these higher frequencies. I believe that the reason the portal was moved forward to the 8-8 partially has to do with simply the fact that people recognize these repeating number sequences as being the most powerful. Although those of us who are on this channel, and welcome to everybody who is new and finding this for the first time, understand that it is the conversations of the planets that truly create the most powerful gateways of energy. And we go in this society by the Gregorian calendar, which is actually a distorted way of interpreting time. Now, because the Gregorian calendar is the widely accepted and used way of measuring time in this dimension, the dates have still taken on a significant energy of power. And the Lionsgate portal itself is so powerful, not really because of its dates, but the power comes from that conjunction between the sun and Sirius at the beginning of July. This year it happened on July 5th. As we move through the next 1.5 months or so, we still have Sirius playing a big part in this conversation. This period of time occurs when we have the heliacal rising of the star Sirius. And what this means is that Sirius begins to be visible above the eastern horizon in the northern hemisphere for many hours in the wee hours of the morning before the sun rises. So we can almost say that our spiritual consciousness is rising before our solar consciousness. And we can look at this, as I'm sharing this with you all, as similar to when we're looking at an astrology chart, the power of the ascendant, which is the sign that is rising over the eastern horizon on the moment that we were born. There is an incredible power to that. So we are really looking at the world through the lens of the star Sirius, through this higher perception, through this more loving more truthful perception. Sirius is a star that represents liberation and independence, freedom at its core. So there's a beautiful freeing energy of truth and spiritual connection that is dawning within our consciousness as Sirius sits over the eastern horizon every morning, bringing that energy through to us, continuing to open us, to activate us, to make us more aware, more in tune with the energies around us, more in tune with the cosmos themselves, and with the oneness of all creation. So we have that energy supporting this widely recognized portal of 8-8, and it is the collective belief in the power of this date that makes it so powerful. As we continue to move through the month of July, we then arrive at the Galactic New Year, which occurs on the 26th of July. This is when the galactic calendar begins its new year. The galactic calendar has 13 moons or months and is tuned into the moon cycles and the natural cycles of creation. And we used to use this calendar a lot on this channel. I used to do daily readings with the energies of the galactic calendar. It has its own portal dates. It's very, very powerful. And there is a link, I think, in my bio still, if you check in the description box, so that you can discover your own galactic signature in relation to the galactic calendar. If you guys are interested in learning about the galactic calendar, let me know. I can do a whole other video on that. I'm not going to get too deeply into that right now. Only enough to say that this is a powerful time as we experience the Galactic New Year. And every Galactic New Year has a theme or an energy related to the galactic signature for that day. This year's Galactic New Year, 2024 into 2025, is the blue rhythmic storm signature. And this is all about catalyzing, awakening, becoming the master of our energy and our reality through being the direct catalyst of change in our lives. Instead of waiting for an outside force, we take ownership and responsibility of that energy and we make things happen. Blue storm energy is very much the energy of awakening and activating the light body as well. So it's a really, really powerful time, and that rhythmic tone, because every galactic signature is made up from the 20 solar tribes and the 13 tones of creation. So the solar tribe being the blue storm, the tone of creation being the rhythmic tone, the 6 tone, which is all about balance, harmony, equilibrium. 6 is also related to the process of ascension itself. So this is a really, really powerful tone to be working with as we move through this year. That energy, you will see as we continue with this video, how it plays into everything and complements it so beautifully. So we have that, which is a galactic activation portal in and of itself. And then we continue to move forward. And we have on August 4th, another really powerful day. This is the new moon in Leo. This is also the day that Mercury stations retrograde in the sign of Virgo. And Mercury will go retrograde through Virgo back into Leo. And at the end of August, Mercury will station direct in Leo and then continue to trace the degrees that he went over during his retrograde, which is what we call the shadow period, until he returns to 4 degrees of Virgo, where his retrograde began. And for those of you who aren't familiar with planetary retrogrades, this is when, from our position on Earth, planets appear to be moving backwards in the sky. This is a time of revisiting, a time of reconsidering, a time at seeing things from different perspectives and feeling things out in a different way as our mental processes are functioning a bit differently. And we'll do a video on the Mercury retrograde itself. So I'm not going to get too deep into all of these energies right now, except to tell you the important factors. What's important to know about August 4th and this new moon in Leo with the Mercury retrograde occurring is that this is part of a series of heart-opening activations that we are going to receive as we move toward that pinnacle of energy, the 8-8, which, like I said, is so strong because of our collective belief in that energy. And so moving toward this energy, it's almost like our heart is dilating and opening more and more. And I use the phrase dilating because this process of ascension, and for those of you who don't know what ascension is, I know there's a lot of new people to this channel. Please comment, let me know what you want to learn more about, and I will make videos about those specific things so that people understand them more. To get too deeply into all of this in this one video, I mean, this video would last for hours. All right, so let me know what you want to know more about. But essentially, this ascension is the process of raising our earth in frequency and vibration, the consciousness of her, and therefore the consciousness of everything upon her, back into the fifth dimension, which is originally the dimension that the earth existed at before the fall of Atlantis, when we descended into a third dimensional construct or reality. And I think it's really powerful that the earth did this for us. This was actually a powerful sacrifice that our planet made for us. Gaia Sophia, whatever name you want to call her, Pachamama, she made a powerful sacrifice when the free will choice of the people, the organisms, the souls upon her that had come here to learn and grow was to descend into a lower dimension of consciousness. She made that choice and allowed that process to occur because she loved us so much. We wanted that experience. We made that free will choice. And so she joined us in that because there is no other way. She is a living being. And as she is, we are, right? We are biologically part of her when we come into this dimension, when we incarnate upon her. So she made that sacrifice to fall into the third dimension. But it is time for her to lift herself up. And many of the starseeds and light workers who find this channel, and check out the video I did on the 3 waves of volunteers if you don't know what a starseed is and some of this language is foreign to you. Many of us came here to assist her in that process. And in that process, all of humanity is being lifted up if they choose. If they don't choose, there is literally a splitting of worlds occurring right now. Rising Phoenix Aurora calls this the bifurcation, where we have the third dimensional Earth and the fifth dimensional Earth. And in the middle, they intersect, they're interlocked right now with the fourth dimensional existence in the middle. And this is where many finding this channel find themselves right now. We are straddling both worlds to help bridge people across. Eventually, this bifurcation or this birthing process will be complete. The Earths will be split off from each other, and we will be born into, actually not even the fifth dimension, but the sixth dimension, because that is where we were in the process of ascending into when the fall of Atlantis occurred. And we are actually repeating that cycle right now in order to clear those energies and ascend the way that we were meant to at that time. Although meant to, who's to judge what we're meant and meant not to do, right? Especially in a free will universe. However, what we had intended to do, the blueprint, the organic blueprint that was meant for us, I suppose you could say. So we're in this beautiful process. The earth is bifurcating. She is splitting and birthing. You can imagine almost as she's splitting, she's birthing out from her between from the third, fourth, and fifth dimension. The sixth dimension is what's birthed out as the splitting occurs. And there are key dates where this bifurcation is occurring. The Lionsgate portal energies, this time period between the beginning of July and mid-August being one of them. Another one being around December 12/12, 12/21. That is a powerful gateway of energy. And there are other times as well, sometimes during the full and new moons, different portals of energy created by the planets. All right, so this is occurring. And I see the heart chakra going through a similar process of dilation and expansion. As it is expanding, our heart chakra is the portal to the fifth dimension, as we talk about on here all the time. We are a stargate. We are a portal. And it is from our own hearts, honestly, that the fifth dimension births, the fifth, sixth dimension births, with the assistance of the solar energy and everything that we've talked about so far. So this heart expansion, a key point in this process is the fourth during that new moon in Leo. And the significance of the Mercury retrograde is that it will carry us through the integration process, all the way to the end of August, the 28th, I do believe. All of these exact dates are in the live stream I just did for Leo season. For anyone who wants to check that out, we go into many of these energies and some other things on there. It's really fun. I love doing live streams with all of you guys. However, not to get too distracted here. So the heart is opening, it's expanding to allow in more of this beautiful high vibrational energy. Mercury is moving through his retrograde, helping us to integrate all of these energies. And Mercury, as I believe I mentioned earlier, won't be out of shadow until the beginning of September. So we have all of that time to integrate. And we're going to need it because this is some big, big energy here. So the heart's expanding on the 4th. And then on the 7th, right before the next pinnacle date of the 8-8, we have a powerful heart expansion when Mercury and Venus are conjunct in the sign of Virgo. Mercury in his retrograde, conjunct with Venus. And this is a beautiful blending of energies here. This is a beautiful balancing of the heart and the head, a purification of the head and the heart that we are undergoing here. Some people speak of heart-mind coherence, which is when the heart and the mind are balanced and working together in harmony. In this society, in this inverted world, we have been taught to lead with our mind instead of our heart. The mind was meant to be the servant or the tool of the heart instead of the other way around. But we got it. Everything is flipped around here. That's why we call it the inverted matrix. Before I learned that term, I used to call it the upside down world, right? Everything's the opposite of what it appears or what it perhaps should, the highest vibration of what it could be, we'll say, instead of, we don't use the word should. That's a word that I've learned to remove from my vocabulary. And I encourage everyone else to do the same, all right? Because it places blame and judgment. There's no blame and judgment here. This simply is what has occurred and what we are correcting at this time. So balancing that, putting the mind and the heart back in harmony, and this beautiful purification of those energies. We have a relationship going on here. As Mercury and Venus are conjunct in Virgo, with Uranus conjunct the planet Sedna. This is a dwarf planet, Sedna. She is very, very powerful, though. Some of these asteroids and dwarf planets are just coming into our consciousness, and they are so incredibly beautiful the way they add another layer of richness to our interpretations. I'm not going to go deep into the story of Sedna in this video, but I will say that she represents, especially coupled with Uranus, this desire for liberation and freedom, and really illustrates the importance of not abandoning ourselves. Sedna stands for the energies of abandonment, healing and transforming from those energies, abandonment and betrayal. But the deepest abandonment that she experienced was when she abandoned herself and her truth to try to please others. And so it's so important that we understand this. The truth of standing in our power, the truth of owning our voice, the power, I guess I should say, of owning our voice, right? And what happens when we allow others to take that power away? And this is a common theme that we're working through. A lot of the new people on here found me through the full moon in Capricorn video that I just did. And even in that video, that was a huge theme, this energy of giving our power away and reclaiming that power. And so we see with Uranus and Sedna together here, the emphasis on not what happens when the outside world abandons us, but how that begins with the abandonment of the self and the reclaiming of the self, the reclaiming of that energy. Virgo actually means self-possessed, which I didn't know until I started studying astrology. So I think that's really cool. And that only adds to the energy of this as we have the Sun and Mercury conjunct in the sign of Virgo. Sedna is in Gemini and Uranus is in Taurus. So that's actually an out of sign conjunction. But as we saw with the moon and Pluto during that full moon, that does not negate the power of the energy. I think it gives an interesting blend of energies because we have two different signs energies working together as opposed to one, which in one aspect weakens the impact, but in another strengthens it because it gives it more diversity. And so that energy of being self-possessed, that energy of cleansing and clearing and purification, but stepping into a higher expression of ourselves, one that is more loving and self-accepting, one that contains less blame, less judgment. There is a real call to be gentle with ourselves as we move through this energy. because Virgo energy can be very self-critical. And sometimes that then manifests as criticism of others. So we want to practice radical self-love and self-acceptance and allow the power of that to expand this heart chakra even more and naturally and organically bring through the healing that we need. And this will move us right through to the date of 888 this year, right? And this is when everything really comes together. This what I like to call second leg of the Lionsgate portal, that first leg being the Sun conjunct Sirius, the second leg being this 8-8 energy. There's a lot that I was feeling for this. Whenever we have a galactic activation portal, it really makes the veil thinner. It allows us to move more fluidly between timelines, between different dimensions of ourselves. And I'm really powerfully feeling this with the energy of Uranus working with us during that conjunction the day before. There's this powerful ability to shift through timelines right now. And 2024, as we've talked about, is a leap year. It's all about leaping through timelines, aligning with that highest timeline for our own ascension and for the collective ascension. So we see this culmination here of these energies. I want to, before we get too deeply into the specific energies of this Lionsgate portal, I actually want to backtrack because I'm being reminded of another significant energy here regarding the alignments that are happening on the 4th. And this is the fact that back in April of this year, we had that powerful total solar eclipse on the 8th of April, 4-8. And if we break down the year into its numerological energy, which is an 8, that was on 4-8-8, which was 4 days after the 4-4-8 portal and 4 months before this 8-8-8 portal now. And I will link a video at the end of this one that I did on that energy, talking about the significance and how we were being prepared for this portal during that eclipse and that 4-4 portal that happened 4 days before. It's also interesting to note that one of the most powerful activations for the collective, as far as new waves of souls being awakened, happened on the 4-4-4 portal back in 2020, which was 4 years ago, when it was a 4 year. So now fast forward 4 years from the 4-4-4 to the 8-8-8, and we're having another powerful wave or awakening within the collective. Many more people coming online or coming on board, so to speak, at least in the beginning phases of starting to question their reality. And I feel with the powerful energies during this Lionsgate, there's going to be light bulbs going off. People are going to be waking up at a faster rate once again. And this is, of course, only adding to another powerful, we light each other up. So it's like ripples. The more people that awaken, the more people that awaken, because the energy carries, it builds, it multiplies on itself. So this is very, very powerful stuff, you guys. And the significance of the 4s, I mean, I could keep going with it. I kept going with the significance of the number 4 in that video that I'm going to link for you guys at the end of this one. You'll see it on the screen so you can click on it. It's just insane, the power and the relevance of this 4 energy and all the multiples of 4 that we are experiencing. I'm being reminded now that 12 as well is a multiple of 4, and we're going to get into the 12 as we get deeper into this year's Lionsgate energies. But we're going to go back to the timeline energy right now, and the ability to move through timelines so fluidly and align with that timeline. I was told that during this time, and when I say I was told, I mean, I channeled my higher self, my guides told me that some people are going to be given glimpses, and this may have already happened for you, because remember, this portal's been open since the beginning of July. We may be given glimpses into our highest timelines. And the reason for this is to help us align with the frequency of that and to give us an opportunity to see what can be, should we continue to make the choices and the decisions that align us with that timeline. And most importantly, to remain in that vibration. Spirit really emphasized that this is the most important aspect of this portal. There's a lot of stuff going on. We are collecting soul fragments, little fractured pieces of our soul's energy from trauma in different timelines and lifetimes, becoming whole because we have to do this in order to ascend. All of that is powerfully happening, just organically happening. But Spirit said the most important thing is to remain rooted as much as possible within our hearts and to allow ourselves to connect with this 5D frequency because it is all around us. It is more available to us than ever. Another thing that was channeled in the live stream that we did the other day on Leo season in the Lionsgate portal was that the Earth's tree of life is being crystallized during this time. And I explained a little bit in that live stream that creation is like a tree and that every aspect of creation has its own tree. So you have a tree, I have a tree, the Earth herself has a tree that holds and represents all of her energies and all of her experiences throughout all dimensions and incarnations and expressions. And so the Earth's tree is being recrystallized. Where it was infringed upon, that energy is being fully healed, and she is restored to her pure crystalline glory. As we move through this process of ascension, many might have heard this understanding that we are evolving from a carbon-based life form back into a crystalline-based life form. So the Earth is doing this first for all of us. She's the pioneer, as she always is. And then this process is really beginning in earnest. The process of our trees crystallizing and our light bodies and physical bodies beginning to crystallize as well at a higher level. To tap into this powerful energy, Spirit said, our beautiful mother Gaia Earth has said, connect with the trees. Because the trees are aspects of her, right? They are part of her. And they are, of course, very connected to her tree. And therefore to our trees as well. Our trees of life is what we call them, the trees of life. And so you can connect in with her beautiful crystalline tree of life through connecting with nature and particularly the trees. And I thought this was really interesting when this came through, because some of you might remember, those of you on my email list got the email. I also talked about this in one of the live streams, how I was tapping into that 5D frequency the other day through noticing the trees and the way they were shining like diamonds, right? Like crystalline. I was seeing that and noticing that, and connecting in with the trees brought me into that state of bliss where I was just purely present in my heart center. So that's where we want to be if we can. It'll happen when we least expect it. In these little moments where we give our mind just a moment of space, where we're no longer thinking and we're present even in that moment, we'll begin to tap in. Oh, it's crazy. The crickets or cicadas outside my window are going crazy right now out of nowhere. That was really cool. We'll begin to tap in those moments. So when you feel that energy, instead of trying to analyze it, just surrender to it. Breathe into it. Be present. Come into your body. Come into the moment. Allow that heart center to open, unlock, and unfurl. It's really, truly so incredibly beautiful, you all. That's where the magic is. If we stay rooted and grounded in that frequency as much as possible, and don't worry if you're not there, these galactic activation portals bring through a lot of energy. We're also having massive solar storms right now on top of all of that, which of course is no accident. And remember, those solar storms, even though the conjunction is over, Sirius is still what we would consider sort of behind the sun in that area of the sky. And that channel of energy is still open. So these solar flares are channeling not only the sun's energy, but Sirius's energy to us as well. All right. So this is huge, these solar storms. And you may be feeling really tired. You may be feeling anxious. You may have a lot of bottled up emotions coming to the surface, because when we bring in all that light, when our vibration begins to rise so powerfully, it brings up everything within us that is not a match, and we begin purging that out. So if you're not connected in this 5D frequency all the time, if you don't even feel it at all, don't get frustrated with yourself. Know that it's there, and you are simply in the process of becoming a vibrational match to feel it, to access it. And that's okay. Wherever we're at is perfect for us right now. Remember, radical self-acceptance, self-love, and lack of judgment. Judgment is an instant killer of vibration. All right, so just allow yourself to be where you're at. Embrace that moment, embrace that energy. And in those moments, Spirit's saying of that pure acceptance of where we're at, those are actually windows that open us up to that 5D consciousness. So if we can stop fighting against where we're at, fighting against what we feel, judging ourselves for not being where we think we should be, and we simply allow ourselves to be where we are with love, unconditional love, or the closest thing we can muster to that for ourselves, these are gateways that unlock that heart energy and help us to align and step into that 5D frequency. Because it's here, it's all around us. It's just about connecting into it. All right. Anything else that we want to talk about? Oh, yes. So I'm going to link a video in the description box because it's not one of my videos. My videos are going to be linked at the end, and you're going to see them as little bubbles or little blocks that you can click on in the last like 20 seconds of this video, or any video that I do where I link videos. This is a video by Rising Phoenix Aurora from last year's Lionsgate, where she talks about the activation of the sacred keys or laws of the universe. And so these are points where the ley lines converge and the energy is very powerful. Some people would refer to these as the Earth's chakras. And these gateways of energy have been unlocking since 2012. There are 13 keys or laws here. They are each protected by an archangel. They are powerful nexus points of energy. And you can imagine like this energy was sealed for a very long time. And since 2012, when we had the first really powerful bifurcation on 12/12/2012 and 12/21, 12/12 through 12/21, 2012, which in the Gregorian calendar, remember, what was it? The Mayan calendar ended in 2012. Everyone thought it was going to be the end of the world. It wasn't the end of the world, but it was the end of the world as we knew it. Most people just didn't recognize it because it was an energetic shift that started occurring as we began to be able to access that fifth dimension and the earth began bifurcating. All right. And another powerful aspect of this bifurcation energy occurred in 2020, 2021, which in the Ethiopian calendar is actually 2012. The reason for this is that the Ethiopian calendar goes by a different system. They begin on the day of what is believed to be Yeshua's birthday, which interestingly enough, for those who followed the live stream the other day, is 9/11. I'm just going to leave that for the people who are going to get that, who are on that live stream. If not, check out the live stream. You'll understand how interesting it is that was mentioned as his birthday. So they begin then, and they have a 13-month calendar, similar to the galactic calendar, going more in tune with the moon cycles and the cycles of the earth. And so their calendar is 7 to 8 years behind the Gregorian calendar. So for them, this 2012 date was actually 2020, 2021. And we saw the intensity of energy pick up then, right? This next process of bifurcation that really began occurring. And we could really see it in the world. We saw the things that happened to try to put us into an energy of fear, literally injecting fear into us, right? Trying to prevent us from continuing this process of ascension, and trying to influence which timeline we aligned with, which earth we aligned with as this bifurcation process kicked into higher gear. So all of these dates, no matter what calendar we're going by, are relevant, right? It's all just a different perspective and a different way of working with and viewing the energy. So that 2012 point is when this shift, this powerful shift, and these are all leap years, I believe, by the way, right? Every 4 years. And 2012 is a multiple of 4, so I believe 2012 would have been a leap year. Somebody let me know in the comments. And 2020 would have been a leap year as well. So it's really, really interesting how this all lines up. We talk about on here how this is a leap year, 2024, and we are making a quantum leap through consciousness. All right, so there's this bifurcating energy that is occurring here. And the first key unlocked during the Lionsgate energy, this portal of energy that we're talking about here, which was at Mount Shasta, representing that root energy. And from that year on, each Lionsgate, we've had one of these keys, the seals sort of unlocking or popping on these keys. And you can find all of this information in the Galactic Soul History of the Universe, which is Rising Phoenix Aurora's first book. She has 2 books out now. They're both powerful and incredible. The next one is The Final Battle. It is the Galactic Soul History of the Multiverse. I believe Soul History is still in there. You look it up, you'll find it. Rising Phoenix Aurora. All right, these are incredible books, compilations of all of her channelings, as well as the past life regression, entity removal sessions, which I learned from her, or of Aura, and the things that were discovered through the sessions with the clients, transcripts of those conversations. And so she writes about the 13 keys in that first book. I don't know if it's in the second one. I'm partway through the second one right now. And it's really, really powerful stuff. And if you guys want to learn more about that, like I said, I'm going to link her video below. But this year is the unlocking of the 12th key. The 12th key is the inner earth chakra, located in the UK and Ireland. And this represents the sacred law of grace. And the law of grace is simply a law, when worked with, that allows us to flow effortlessly, to surrender in unconditional love, and allow the universe to flow through us. Allow our spirit to flow through us freely. Allow ourselves to flow through life, to be intimately and infinitely connected and in harmony with the beauty of the world and creation. And do you see how this perfectly ties into that blue rhythmic storm energy and that rhythmic tone? You can't make this stuff up. It's so perfectly beautiful and aligned. And the archangel that guards this sacred key is Archangel Heliacal, for those who are interested. So you can work with him if you want to work with this key. And it's really interesting. Check out her video if you are drawn to do so, because all of us feel a draw to certain locations and energies. And a lot of times those represent the keys that we came here to work with. And we can work with these psychically, as well as work with these by physically visiting these places. All right. And so the energies are infringed upon in these places to try to sort of like cover up the beauty of these energies, of these places, the sacredness, to kind of besmirch it, so to speak. This is systematically done. But as we move through these Lionsgate portals and these seals open, it's almost like the energy just can't really be contained any longer. And I think there is going to be a process of us continuing to cleanse and clear these locations. Because even though the energy can't be contained, there's a lot that needs to be healed and filtered through so they can be at their optimal expression, I feel. It's really interesting to note that there are 13 keys. So next year will be the 13th key, or the 13th seal opening over these locations. And that is the key of the cosmic heart. It is inner earth, but it's like the core of Mother Earth herself and her infinite connection to the cosmos. It's like her own cosmic heart chakra, if you will, opening up and activating. It's called the Cosmic and Earth Gateway. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen once that occurs, once all 13 are active. I think it's going to be a process, oh, my ears are ringing right now, of continuing to work with these energies to heal these locations. And when they're at optimal vibrational frequency, I feel like that's going to be another major ascension point or energy. And I am feeling, as I'm recording this, I did a video on this for those of you who want to check it out. The 2027 and 2034 eclipses, the final set of total solar eclipses in the Hepton cycle, of which the 2017 and the 2024 infamous eclipses that everybody was talking about, with all of their crazy symbolism, the alpha and the omega that were created. If you guys don't know about this, there are videos. Look for the video that I did on the 2024 eclipse, but it was more geared toward the ones that are coming, because the 2017 and 2024 eclipses made an X, and then with the help of one other eclipse within that Hepton cycle, an A, so the Hebrew letters of alpha and omega over the United States. And in 2027, we're going to have a line drawn completely across the Middle East, Egypt, a lot of these areas through the Dead Sea. And then in 2034, another one going the opposite direction, creating another X over some of these powerful sacred lands. And this is Mecca is going to be within the line of these eclipses. Medina, sacred locations. For Islam, we have Egypt and all of those energies in the crowd. I mean, it's wild. So I feel that tying in with this somehow is like a final purification or cleansing of those lands. Egypt is known as the third eye. It is one of the sacred keys. Jerusalem is one of the sacred keys as well, being the throat chakra. So it's really interesting to see the things that happen on and around these lands, right? When we're talking about the besmirching of these lands and these sacred places. So yeah, much to be revealed. Big, big changes 2027 to 2034, you guys. As if what we're is happening right now isn't enough, right? Right now what we want to focus on with this Lionsgate portal. I know I give you guys a lot of information. So I love you, honor you, and respect you for bearing with me through all of this. We want to focus on aligning with that 5D frequency, aligning with our highest timeline. If we are given glimpses to that highest timeline for our own personal journey, or some may be given glimpses of the highest timelines for the Earth herself and the Ascension, which is beautiful. If you are given a glimpse of that, please share it with us. Leave it in the comments, send me an email, whatever. I would love to hear about that because that is so beautiful. Join us on a live stream. That is to keep us going. That is to give us, also to allow us, because when we have that vision, especially if we're tapped into this 5D frequency, we're aligning our energy and our vibration with that vision, which is aligning us with that timeline. So it's about staying aligned. It's about taking the actions that we feel within our hearts are going to align us with that reality. And as we move into the fall time, hopefully is when I'm hoping this is all going to come together. I'm working on it, you guys. We're going to be doing a Master Your Mind challenge as well, which is going to help with clearing some of these energies and getting us into the frequency, because our mind is a projector of our reality. Our belief systems, our perceptions create our world as within, so without. So it's in order to align with these higher timelines, we have to be mentally aligned, which creates an energetic alignment, an emotional alignment. It all ties in together, but the mental body and the energy here is so important. I mean, that's how these energies and entities that I reference sometimes, right? That's how they have kept us enslaved for so long, have kept us in a state of forgetting that we're meant to descend into, but we're meant to like slowly begin that process of remembering again. But they keep us trapped through keeping our minds trapped, through the brainwashing, through the mind control, through the programming. Right? This ascension, among many other things, is all about deprogramming ourselves. Right? It's a powerful journey. We're all at different phases of this journey. Everybody who's finding this channel, some of the people who are new here, like I said, welcome, welcome, welcome. We love you. We honor you. We respect you. We're so glad that you're here. Maybe at different phases of this process. So just continue to be open. Continue to allow, like, I always tell people, don't believe everything that anybody speaks, least of all me. Judge it against your own inner resonance, but be open to different information. I'll give an example just with the Lionsgate portal itself. As I began researching this portal, I've been on YouTube since 2020 and really been digging into this in earnest since then. Things weren't quite lining up for me, right? I was like, okay, so what is the Lionsgate portal? It's when Orion and the Earth and Sirius are aligned, which, by the way, can't happen because Sirius is, like we said, sort of diagonally down from Orion, from the Orion constellation. I believe you draw a line sort of from the belt, and you can see Orion in the Canis, or Sirius rather, in the Canis Major constellation down here. So it's like they're never going to be aligned. They are where they are in the sky. You know, the Earth, it's just like the things that people were saying, none of it really fully added up to me. And then I'm like, okay, so it's about Sirius, but Sirius is conjunct the sun. Like I realized this in 2022 during Cancer season. So how does that line up? And I was questioning it, but I kept trying to make it fit my narrative, right? This is cognitive dissonance working here. Of like, no, everyone says it's the 8/8. This has to be the date. There is something going on here that I'm just not seeing or that I'm missing. And this year when I was doing the research for this portal, I finally figured out, no, my intuition was right. The true date of this event is when the sun and Sirius come into conjunction at the beginning of July. Part of this energy, it's just been misinterpreted, I think. I think there's also been purposeful disinformation to cause people to celebrate this day after the peak of its energy has already passed. Because if we practice it and we really pay attention and harness that energy of that date, of that conjunction, that alignment, it's much more powerful. So it's another way to keep us out of our power and to keep us in a bit of a confusion. Although what's interesting now that I've also intuited is that that energy has kind of backfired because so many people believe in the 8/8 now that energy has become as powerful, almost as powerful, we'll say, as the conjunction itself. And it's still happening within that window, like we said, of the heliacal or the heliacal rising. I always want to say heliacal, of the star Sirius. So it doesn't matter. That's the most beautiful thing to get from all of this is like, our energy is so powerful, our belief systems, right? That's what makes the 8/8 the most powerful date, where so many more people feel the energies than they do when the sun is conjunct Sirius. It's because of the collective belief. So this is a perfect illustration of why our individual beliefs are so important, because when enough people individually shift their belief systems, it shifts the collective reality. There's a tipping point of energy that occurs. So be open. Be open, trust your heart, trust your resonance, stay tapped into these frequencies and ride this out. Know that you are aligned with your most organic and fortuitous timeline right now. Claim that, own that. Vibrate at that by feeling that through every cell and molecule in your body. And then act in alignment with that vision, with that truth. I love you all so much. I honor you. I respect you. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.